had some favorite scriptures. I've preached a lot of sermons from 3rd chapter of John's Gospel. There's a lot of sermons in it. 10th chapter of Romans, the 8th chapter of Romans, and 20th chapter of Revelation. I guess my favorite of all the scriptures is the 53rd chapter of Isaiah. It is a miniature of the life of Christ. It starts out with his humble birth, a tender plant and a root out of a dry ground. It presents to us his suffering, his rejection first by his own people, and then his suffering, and then the cause of his suffering, and then his triumph when he divides the spoils with the strong, the spoils of the souls of man, and his triumph in his resurrection. And the 53rd chapter of Isaiah gives us all this, just a cameo of the life of Christ 750 years before Jesus was ever born. God pulled back the curtains of time and let Isaiah see Jesus from his beginning to his ascension. And it says, who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs, and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we, like sheep, have gone astray. We've turned every one to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him, that is Jesus, the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb. He opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgressions of his people was he smitten. He made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no evil, neither was any violence in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He, that is God, hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He, that is God, shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion of the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he has poured out his soul unto death, numbered with the transgressors, made intercession, bare the sins of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. So this 53rd chapter of Isaiah gives us the humble beginning of Jesus Christ, the reason for his suffering, that we might have our sins paid for, that we might be purchased with his blood. The purpose in it all, and that is that people might be saved. The great eternal purpose of God is to save sinners. It takes precedence over every other desire and hope and dream of God for humanity. And it should take precedence in our lives. And then his triumph, as he was resurrected and as he divided the spoil of the strong. It pleased the Lord to as God had put him to grief. It was all in the eternal, predestined purpose of God that Jesus Christ should die. And this was revealed in the 53rd chapter of Isaiah to the great prophet Isaiah, our God himself. So I guess that's about my favorite chapter in the entire Bible, the picture of Jesus, his suffering, the purpose of it all in God, and the final triumph of Jesus Christ as he divides the spoils with the strong. Save souls from the power of Satan. That's what that literally means.